They told you cats were just pets. They lied. For thousands of years, you've been told that cats are harmless, playful companions, nothing more than creatures designed to keep us company. But that's not what the ancients believed. Hidden deep within the sands of time lies a secret most historians won't talk about, a prophecy so dangerous that priests swore oaths of silence to protect it. Thousands of years ago, the ancient Egyptian god, Thoth, the keeper of wisdom, the scribe of the gods, and the one who understood the mysteries of life and death, left behind a chilling warning. A prophecy, not written for his time, but for ours. It was hidden inside forbidden papyri, locked away in the temple of Hermopolis, a place where only the highest initiates could enter. And within those texts, Thoth described a moment when the balance between worlds would fracture, a time when the Watchers, the silent beings we now call cats, would awaken. He warned that when humanity became blind to the spiritual, when our obsession with power, technology, and control outpaced our wisdom, the veil between realms would begin to tear. And when that day came, the cats would know first. They would sense it. They would see it. The priests thought this day would come thousands of years in the future, but they were wrong. Because today, right now, the signs are everywhere. Everything Thoth warned about is unfolding exactly as he said it would. The forbidden prophecy. Thoth, the god of wisdom, writing, and hidden knowledge, knew something about this world that we were never meant to know. In his most secret texts, writings never meant for ordinary eyes, he described a race of silent guardians, beings we now call cats. But to Thoth, they were something far more mysterious. He called them the Watchers between worlds. According to his teachings, these creatures were not fully of this earth. Their bodies live here, but their perception stretches into realms beyond human comprehension. Thoth wrote that cats could see the invisible currents of energy, tracking what moves through dimensions we cannot perceive. In one forbidden papyrus, recovered from fragments of the emerald tablets, Thoth wrote, "Man shall see with mortal eyes, but the Watchers shall see the threads of the unseen. When the veils weaken and the shadows rise, follow the Watchers, for they alone perceive the true danger." For centuries, the Egyptian priesthood guarded this knowledge with their lives. They believed cats were placed on earth by higher forces to observe, protect, and warn us of approaching forces that the human mind could not yet comprehend. And here's where it gets darker. Thoth also warned of a shift, a moment in history when mankind would lose balance with nature and spirit. A time when our endless obsession with technology, control, and consumption would accelerate beyond what our souls could handle. When that day came, he wrote, the barrier between realms would begin to tear, and the first signs wouldn't be seen by humans. They'd be seen by the Watchers. That's why the Egyptians worshipped cats as divine messengers. They weren't just pets. They weren't just sacred symbols. They were living instruments, conduits tuned to a frequency beyond our perception. Priests of the Temple of Bastet reported strange behavior during certain rituals. Cats would suddenly hiss at empty corners, their fur rising as if sensing something unseen. Some would follow shadows no one else could see, moving in perfect silence, as though stalking an enemy hidden beyond the veil. To the priests, this wasn't random. It was confirmation. Cats were tracking the movement of beings that do not belong here, entities Thoth referred to as the shadows beyond the veil. And in his prophecy, Thoth issued a chilling warning. When the Watchers grow restless, and their silence turns to mourning, know that the gate has weakened, and what lies beyond has begun to stir. For thousands of years, this warning was dismissed as mythology, but something is happening today that has scientists, researchers, and ordinary people unsettled. Across the globe, cat owners are witnessing the exact behaviors Thoth described. Cats staring endlessly at empty walls, bolting into rooms without reason, refusing to sleep where they once rested peacefully, and sometimes disappearing for days, only to return acting different. Even modern science is beginning to confirm parts of this ancient knowledge. Researchers now know that cats can see in ultraviolet light, a spectrum completely invisible to human eyes, meaning they're watching something we cannot. And when you connect this with Thoth prophecy, it becomes terrifyingly clear. The Watchers have started seeing something again, something they were sent here to warn us about, something moving just beyond the veil. Do you want me to expand that next? In ancient Egypt, cats were not simply animals, they were sacred keys, living fragments of something the pharaohs believed was not of this earth. To the Egyptians, every creature was connected to the divine, but cats were different. They were gatekeepers, beings designed to walk between two worlds, the physical and the unseen. This wasn't just religion, this was science, as understood thousands of years ago, a science we've forgotten. Deep within the archives of Hermopolis, priests of Thoth recorded rituals designed to align the human spirit with the Watchers. These were secret ceremonies where cats were placed in the center of a perfectly drawn sacred circle, surrounded by symbols carved in Thoth's own script. During these rituals, witnesses reported terrifying phenomena. Some cats would stare unblinking into empty darkness, some would hiss violently at corners of the temple where no one stood, and in rare cases, cats would arch their backs, emit low growls, and appear to track invisible movements across the walls. The priests called these episodes the silent warnings. They believed the cats were detecting entities beyond the veil, what Thoth called the shadows that follow. According to the ancient texts, these shadows were not spirits of the dead, but beings from another plane, forces that feed on fear, chaos, and spiritual imbalance. And this is why harming a cat in Egypt was punishable by death. It wasn't because cats were worshipped as gods themselves, but because they were seen as guardians of balance. To harm one was to blind yourself, to cut off your only protection from what moves unseen. The goddess Bastet, often depicted as a lioness or a woman with the head of a cat, wasn't just a symbol of love and fertility. To the initiated, she was the embodiment of the divine force within cats, the frequency that connects them to realms beyond ours. And there's something even darker hidden in these temples, something very few scholars dare to talk about. Recent discoveries suggest that some of the most secretive rituals conducted in Thoth's name involved human souls. Ancient inscriptions describe a chilling belief: when a person died, a cat would watch over their body for 3 nights. If the cat hissed, paced, or refused to leave, the priests believed the passage of the soul had been disturbed, that something else was trying to enter instead. It wasn't superstition, it was protection. Because the Egyptians believed cats could see the entities waiting in the shadows, those who wanted to hijack the departing soul and take its place. This is why cats were mummified alongside pharaohs, not as pets, not as offerings, but as protectors in the afterlife. They were guides, warriors between worlds, keeping the dead safe from the forces Thoth warned about. And here's where it connects back to today. When Thoth spoke of Watchers growing restless, he wasn't speaking metaphorically. He meant the day would come when cats would begin showing the same disturbing behaviors they once displayed inside the temples. And now, in homes across the globe, people are reporting exactly that. Cats freezing, hissing, refusing to enter certain rooms. Cats waking at 3 a.m., their fur bristling, their gaze locked on empty space. The Egyptians believed this would happen when the veil began to thin, and according to Thoth, that moment marks the beginning of something far greater and far more dangerous than anyone is prepared for. The prophecy itself. Buried deep beneath the ruins of Hermopolis, hidden inside a sealed chamber untouched for thousands of years, archaeologists discovered fragments of a text scholars now call the Night of the Watchers. It was written in Thoth's sacred script, one understood only by the highest initiates of his temple, and within it lies a chilling warning, one that speaks directly to our time. Thoth begins by describing a moment in human history when the balance of creation would fracture. In the age when man worships his own inventions, when the machine speaks louder than the soul, the gates between worlds shall tremble. Then shall the Watchers awaken, and their silence shall be broken by whispers of the unseen. For thousands of years, priests debated the meaning of this passage, but now, it's starting to make sense. The awakening of the Watchers. Thoth writes that the first sign of the prophecies unfolding will not come from the skies, or from the earth splitting open. It will come from the Watchers, the beings we now call cats. He describes a period where the veil between dimensions would begin to thin, allowing fragments of other realms to bleed into ours. Humans wouldn't see it, but cats would. The text warns of 3 distinct signs. Sign 1. The stare: when the Watchers gaze upon walls where no shadow falls, the veil has begun to open. Today, millions of cat owners report the same phenomenon. Cats staring at empty spaces for minutes, even hours, their eyes locked on something we cannot see. Sign 2. The gathering. When the Watchers unite, where no food lies, know that the passage has begun. Priests once observed cats gathering in sacred sites, silent, still, unblinking, as though they sensed something approaching. Now similar behavior has been documented worldwide. Entire groups of stray cats assembling in abandoned streets or near ancient landmarks without reason. Sign 3. The silence. And when the watchers fall silent, know that the shadows have crossed. According to the texts, the moment cats stop responding to their surroundings, refusing food, ignoring humans, even appearing dazed, is the moment something has already entered. The invisible threat, but Thoth's prophecy goes deeper than strange animal behavior. He warned of entities beyond the veil, what he called the shadows that follow. These are not spirits of the dead, they are beings from a different plane, trapped between dimensions, waiting for an opening. And Thoth claimed they are drawn to fear. In one haunting line, he writes, "When man forgets his nature and blinds himself to the divine, the shadows shall feed, and the watchers shall weep in silence." The Egyptians believed cats were our only defense against these entities. Their heightened perception, their ability to track ultraviolet frequencies invisible to us, allowed them to see and block the shadows. But there's a terrifying implication in the prophecy. If cats suddenly leave a home, it means the barrier there has already been breached. The year of the veil, this is where the prophecy becomes even more disturbing. Among the sealed fragments, researchers found an encrypted passage referencing a great alignment of cycles, a date tied to cosmic patterns and human choices. It translates roughly as, "In the 7th turn of the 5th cycle, the gate shall shiver, and the watchers shall awaken in full." Many scholars dismissed it, but some believe the timeline corresponds directly to our present age, the years 2024 to 2025. And right now, we are witnessing unprecedented reports of cats behaving exactly as Thoth described. Cats bolting awake at 3 a.m., an hour long associated with energetic disturbances. Entire colonies gathering in silence across ancient ruins. Cats refusing to sleep in spaces where they once felt safe. And more videos surfacing daily of cats hissing, growling, and swatting at invisible figures. Thoth's prophecy is no longer buried under the sands of Egypt. It's playing out right now. If Thoth was right, this is only the beginning. The watchers are waking, the veil is thinning, and what lies beyond has started to notice us. What's happening today? For thousands of years, Thoth's prophecy lay buried beneath the sands, and for thousands of years, cats have silently watched us. Until now, across the world, something strange is happening. Something scientists cannot explain, and it matches exactly what Thoth warned us about. The global pattern over the past 3 years, reports have surged from every corner of the planet. Cats staring for hours at empty walls, completely motionless. Cats bolting upright at 3 a.m., hissing, growling, or running from unseen forces. Entire groups of stray cats gathering in silence near abandoned buildings, temples, and ancient ruins. House cats refusing to enter specific rooms where later, electromagnetic disturbances were detected. Social media is flooded with videos, cats jerking their heads toward unseen movements, pupils dilated, ears twitching, and then there are the sounds. Countless owners report their cats reacting violently to frequencies humans cannot hear, meowing aggressively, scratching doors, even hiding under furniture for hours. Scientists have theories, but Thoth left us a warning, and when you put them side by side, the connection is chilling. The science catching up in the last decade, researchers confirmed something the ancients already knew. Cats see the world in a way we cannot. Unlike humans, cats can detect ultraviolet light, a spectrum of energy invisible to us. This means that when your cat stares into an empty corner of your home, it might not be empty at all. A recent study at Kyoto University recorded cats' reactions in pitch-black rooms. The findings were disturbing. Cats consistently tracked moving objects that didn't exist according to infrared and motion sensors, yet their gaze was perfectly synchronized, as if they were watching something real. Combine this with Thoth's writings, and a pattern emerges. Humans may be blind to forces interacting with our world, but cats, the watchers, were designed to sense them. And according to the prophecy, that's exactly what's happening right now. Mass catastrophes and the veil thinning. Thoth warned that when humanity reached a critical threshold, when technology began replacing human connection and spiritual balance was lost, the veil separating our dimension from others would weaken. Look around you. The Earth's magnetic field is shifting faster than scientists predicted. Strange, low-frequency hums have been detected in over 40 cities, noises below human hearing range, but cats react instantly. Solar activity has surged beyond forecasts, disrupting satellites and creating unexpected radiation spikes. In temples, cats once served as spiritual alarm systems, alerting priests to disturbances beyond sight. Now, they're doing it again, only this time, nobody's listening. When cats disappear in ancient Hermopolis, priests believed there was one final sign. One Thoth said, marked the point of no return. When the watchers abandon the dwellings of men, the shadows have crossed and balance shall be tested. And right now, a strange phenomenon is unfolding. Entire neighborhoods are reporting vanishing cats. They slip out at night and never return. Researchers can't explain it, but eyewitnesses claim to have seen groups of cats running silently in the same direction, gathering in forests, old ruins, and abandoned structures. In Cairo, hundreds of stray cats were seen circling the ruins of Bastet's temple. No one knows why. In Peru, cats have begun appearing in groups at the entrance of caves linked to pre-Incan tombs. And in Japan, multiple surveillance cameras captured dozens of cats gathering beneath ancient shrines, staring upward, perfectly still for nearly an hour. It matches Thoth's second sign exactly, the gathering. The 3 a.m. phenomenon across forums, TikTok videos and research logs. There's one consistent pattern, cats waking violently around 3 a.m. In Egyptian texts, this was known as the crossing hour. The priests believed it was the time when the barrier between worlds was at its weakest, when the shadows beyond the veil could step closest to us. Thoth described it precisely: when the hour of silence strikes thrice, the shadows draw near, and the watchers shall rise against them. But here's the terrifying part. Many cats owners report that when they follow their pets during these episodes, they hear nothing. No sound, no movement, just silence. The warning: we're ignoring modern science dismisses these events as behavioral quirks or predatory instincts. But the ancients understood something we've forgotten. Cats aren't just watching insects, they're watching openings, they're tracking entities, and they're warning us, the same way they warned the priests thousands of years ago. Thoth's prophecy doesn't end with the watchers acting strange. It ends with a choice: heed the watchers and the balance shall hold. Ignore them, and man shall walk blind into shadow. And right now we are walking blind. The signs are here, the veil is thinning, and the watchers have already awakened. The shadow warning. The prophecy didn't end with Thoth's words about the guardians of the veil. Hidden deeper in the Hermopolis papyri, there was a final warning so disturbing that Egyptian priests swore never to speak it aloud. It was known as the shadow passage, a passage that spoke of a time of awakening, when cats would no longer be just companions, when their instincts, long dormant for millennia, would return to the surface, when the veil between the seen and unseen would rip open, and humanity would fail to notice until it was too late. Thoth described it like this: when Ra hides his face behind the burning veil, and the waters of the Nile turn restless beneath the sky of iron, the shadows will walk in fur and silence. They shall see what man cannot, and they shall choose who will remain. At first, scholars dismissed this part of the prophecy as symbolic, a poetic metaphor for change, death, or transformation. But recently, strange patterns have begun emerging, patterns that suggest the shadow passage wasn't symbolic at all. The cats are watching over the last few years. Veterinary studies have uncovered bizarre changes in feline behavior worldwide. Cats are becoming more alert at night, staring for hours at what appears to be empty corners. Entire shelters have reported cases of cats acting aggressively at specific hours, always between 3:03 a.m. and 3:33 a.m. And here's the strange part: when CCTV footage from multiple shelters was reviewed, every single camera showed the same phenomenon. At those exact minutes, static distortion filled the screen, like reality itself was glitching. Scientists blame electromagnetic interference, but the Hermopolis papyri blame something else. The guardians return when the veil thins. They do not guard you, they guard the path. And when the path opens, man will be tested and weighed. The sound no one wants to hear in March 2025. A small research lab in Luxor recorded unusual infrasonic frequencies coming from areas densely populated by cats. The frequencies were below human hearing range, but cats reacted instantly, freezing, staring, tails twitching violently, before bolting in the same exact direction. Dozens of cats across multiple cities, moving together as if following a command. No one knows where they go, no one knows what they're hearing, but the papyri give a hint. The call of shadows shall sound only once, those who hear it will not resist. For the eye sees what the heart fears. The final piece, Thoth's final warning, mentions a date, not a year, not a century, a celestial alignment, when the serpent coils thrice around the eye of the sky. NASA has already confirmed something chilling. That exact alignment, the one Egyptologists ignored for centuries, is happening this year. And where is the center point of the alignment? The Temple of Hermopolis, the same place where the prophecy was found. Coincidence? Or countdown? The cats know, they always have. Every night they stare at the walls, the ceilings, the darkness behind your reflection, not because they're bored, but because they see what you cannot. And according to Thoth, when they finally stop staring, it means the shadows are no longer behind the veil, they're here. And now, we're standing at the edge of what Thoth saw thousands of years ago. The prophecy isn't just about cats, it's about us, about humanity. Thoth didn't choose cats randomly. He understood something we're only beginning to realize. They're not just silent companions, they're watchers, messengers between realms, beings that move between seen and unseen. When he wrote, "When the shadows walk in silence, the keepers shall choose their side," he was warning us, not about an invasion, not about monsters, but about a shift in balance, a time when the boundaries between spirit and matter, chaos and order would blur, and those who ignore the signs would be left in the dark. Look around you, cats behaving strangely, shadows shifting in ways you can't explain, ancient symbols resurfacing in unexpected places, science confirming what the ancients whispered about dimensions, magnetism, and consciousness. This isn't coincidence. Here's the question Thoth leaves us with: are we paying attention, or are we sleepwalking into a future we don't understand? Because if the prophecy is true, then the real danger isn't the cats, it's our ignorance. The scrolls end with a single line, one the priests tried to erase, one even modern Egyptologists refuse to discuss. Those who awaken will find the path. Those who do not will be guided. Guided by who or what? Thoth never said. But one thing is certain, the prophecy has begun. The signs are all around us, and if Thoth was right, we have less time than we think. Watch closely, listen carefully, and the next time your cat stares at the corner of a dark room, don't ignore it. Because maybe, just maybe, it's not looking at nothing,